5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello. Welcome to the Redeemed Train Jumpers channel. This is video 5 of the Train to Death. Today, we will discuss Eve, part B, focusing on her free will. Let's move to the first slide. The nature of Satan's rebellion. Satan aimed to rebel against God and elevate himself to God's status. Isaiah chapter 14 verses 12 to 15 illustrates Satan's desire to become like the Most High, reflecting his intent to oppose, usurp God's authority. Satan's incited deflection on Eve. Satan sought to provoke Eve to abandon her loyalty to God and join his rebellion. His manipulative tactics led to Eve's change of allegiance. Let's move to the next slide. Differences between the free will of humanity and that of animals. A human consists of 3 parts and 3 actions, namely spirit, soul and body, plus thought, speech and bodily action. A human can make both spiritual and mental free wills that enabling he or she to make free choices that reflect his or her belief and values, while an animal only has soul and body but without spirit, plus thought, speech making noise, and bodily action. An animal has mental free will based on instinct only, such as choosing the food to eat. Next slide. The gift of free will. God grants humanity free will as a gift. With free will, people can choose to love or hate, obey or rebel. God tests our free will, and those who choose to love and obey him will be chosen. Initially, both Eve and later Adam failed their first tests. However, they will receive a second and final chance for redemption, as noted in the Bible. Genesis chapter 4 verse 26 states, "At that time, people began to call upon the name of the Lord." Romans chapter 10 verse 13 confirms, "For everyone who calls upon the name of the Lord will be saved." God's commandments to Adam. Genesis chapter 2 verses 16 to 17 says, "And the Lord God commanded the man, saying, You may surely eat of every tree in the garden, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, you shall not eat. For in the day that you eat of it, you shall surely die." Did Adam pass this command to Eve without any changes? Yes, Adam should have conveyed God's command to Eve without any amendments. When God rebuked Adam, as recorded in Genesis chapter 3 verse 17, in which God did not mention any alterations made by Adam. Let's go to the next slide. Step-by-step deception of Eve. Step 1. Testing Eve's defensive line. Genesis 3:1. Now the serpent was more cunning than any other beast of the field that the Lord God had made. He said to the woman, Did God actually say, You shall not eat of any tree in the garden? Step 2. Eve reveals her weakness. Eve exposed her weak defensive line again by altering God's words. Genesis chapter 3 verses 2 to 3. And the woman said to the serpent, We may eat the fruit of the trees in the garden, but God said, You shall not eat of the fruit of the tree that is in the midst of the garden, neither shall you touch it, lest you die. Recognizing Eve's vulnerability, the serpent escalated his attacks by using temptation. Next slide. The temptation. Genesis chapter 3 verses 4 to 5. But the serpent said to the woman, You will not surely die. This directly contradicts God's words, but Eve was unaware. For God knows that when you eat of it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil. This is an accusation against God, but Eve did not realize it. Let's see what are the lusts of Eve in the next slide. The lusts of Eve. Genesis chapter 3 verse 6. So when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, that it was a delight to the eyes, and that it was desirable for gaining wisdom, she took of its fruit and ate. She also. The lusts of Eve. Genesis chapter 3 verse 6. So when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, that it was a delight to the eyes, and that it was desirable for gaining wisdom, she took of its fruit and ate. She also. After Eve ate the forbidden fruit and rebelled against God, sin entered the world. The lusts of Eve. Genesis chapter 3 verse 6. So when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, that it was a delight to the eyes, and that it was desirable for gaining wisdom, she took of its fruit and ate. She also. The 3 lusts of Eve below. Desire of the flesh. desire of the eye, and pride in possession and achievement are with Eve, and they led her falling to temptation. After Eve ate the forbidden fruit and rebelled against God, sin entered the world. In the next video, video 6, we will see what are the curses on Satan. Thank you for watching our channel. Stay tuned and subscribed. See you in the next video. Bye bye.